Well, ladies and gentlemen, we are back with another session of The Gray Line, the show where we're all right and wrong at the same time. I'm joined here by my two compadres this time, Mickey Boy and Anthony, for the sake of
Yo.
not pissing him up. No, I don't want to
What's
cause
up?
I don't want to cause a mental spark in him. Yep.
I will fucking yeet you out the goddamn
Oh,
window.
you're sparking up some jokes already.
All right, we already start. We're all talking.
You're sparking up the wrong tree. 2 puns in 1. Let's
okay,
go.
Okay, given this current situation of California, I don't think that was a good joke, man. But I'm gonna keep.
I think
He's
it's
the
an
one who can make it,
excellent
though.
joke. I'm
He's
the one who can make it.
though.
Yeah, I know. All right, but this week we didn't get that much of a news. Like we got the whole Age of Calamity stuff, which we'll get there eventually because again, this is mostly gonna be a solid channel for reasons that I will talk about that in January. But then we also got a certain logo coming up, which was the Sonic 30 anniversary logo. What do you guys think of that shit?
I really don't know how to feel about it. Honestly,
Yeah.
it's I'll say this: it's clever.
Yeah,
I just don't know if I like it.
yeah.
I'll say this. It's a logo. A logo's a logo. I don't think it has as much charm as the 10th anniversary or the 15th anniversary did, but it's a logo.
All right, no, okay, but with that, like, there's been a lot of, like, there were people once again just going with the whole like, we won the new game, you bitch, we won games, we won games despite not really liking them, but whatever. But yeah, we're gonna piss a lot of people. Just letting you guys know about that.
Is it me or did AGM literally just sound like Hank Hill?
Also,
Oh,
cocaine and
God
and
damn it, Bobby.
accessories.
Hey, I can make that joke too. I've been binge watching King of the Hill, okay?
Oh,
I can tell.
Oh yeah.
I sell propane and propane accessories.
But
I'll tell you what.
But apparently, since I'm Mexican, in my case, I sell cocaine and cocaine accessories. So,
I use WD-40 to open more WD-40.
okay.
You motherfucker.
Like, okay, that went serious fast. But I wanted to talk about that little topic regarding the new game. And I'm like, why do people want a new game if we know that either it's gonna have a missed potential, B, it's gonna be bad, as much as I hate to say that, or it's not gonna please people. Because I want to talk about this for a while, like, can, and the title drop here, ladies and gentlemen, can one Sonic game please the fandom? Spoilers, not really, but we're gonna discuss that for the sake of having a podcast. But just for the sake of also kind of putting ourselves in our own perspectives, what era would you guys consider to be a part of?
I'm gonna let Mickey go first. No.
Damn it,
I'm gonna
going
let
to-
you go first.
I
I went first last time. It's your turn.
Fair. No. Honestly, I don't know where to put myself. I guess modern, because I mean I grew up more with the classic games, but I like at least Generations more than most of the classic games.
No, I mean,
And
So,
for
but
me-
you started with the classics, like that is your starting point. Okay, Anthony.
I am pure Dreamcast era because I think that those games have been consistently good. And keep in mind, I'm only saying
And
you know
those two.
Adventure 1, Adventure 2, and Heroes.
Yeah. All right. In my case, you know, I can actually give the exact same point. I am an adventure guy myself as well because, like, and again, in my case, you guys know those corner game stores back from the from 15 years ago, unfortunately.
Blockbuster.
No, not even that. But like you will have that corner store that will have consoles for people to just play multiplayer and stuff, as well as arcades and all.
yeah.
Oh, you mean my local McDonald's that had a GameCube system in the playroom?
I guess.
Fuck yeah.
I mean, I guess, but mine had PCs with Grand Theft Auto Vice City. We had GameCubes. We had one GameCube for Double Dash and Sonic Adventure 2 Battle, and we played the multiplayer a lot. Me and my cousin, like back in the day.
Hey.
So,
Yeah, same here. I remember going to my mom's workplace every now and then, and they had like a little game room, and they had a GameCube in there, and it had Sonic Adventure 2. I fell in love with it immediately. I fucking loved that game when I was 8. I fucking love it now.
Yeah, like and again, like we can go on and on about the whole adventure debate and all that shit, but like I just want to put our perspectives here, like to just like kind of what era are we a part of. So just like for some of the topics that I do have in mind to bring up, which is again like what, like for starters, what makes for you guys a Sonic game? Well, a Sonic game. So like what makes a game for you stand out like this is what Sonic is about? And for that, I'm gonna start with Mickey.
Oh, that's a long-winded question for me now.
Again, I try to keep it as simple as possible because we have multiple topics that we can tackle. So like we can just what make for you? What's the point that you're like this game is a Sonic game?
Honestly, for me, and it's a strange one, it's characterization. It's not gameplay and all that, and it's not the aesthetic. It's characterization. While I do think the adventure games had good characterization, I don't think they should be held to the 100% standard. I think a good standard to hold it to, a good standard of characterization you hold it to, is around Unleashed, because that was when they were doing more expressive stories with interchangeable characters that actually you talk to, and like wasn't the brief like look out kind of thing. It's like there were whole conversations and all the expression, and you get the feel that these characters exist in some world.
All right. And what about you, Anthony?
To me, I'm on the same boat as Mickey. I feel like if the characterization is accurate to how the characters are actually supposed to be, I feel like you can have a lot of great potential. Like going straight to Unleashed, I feel like having the characters just stop to talk a little bit in certain cutscenes really makes the world come alive. And I feel like if there were more scenes like that, also in Heroes actually, where sometimes the characters will just stop to talk like right before a level or something. Like for example, when Eggman bumps into them on the Egghawk right after Ocean Palace, the characters talk. Then after that fight, they talk in Grand Metropolis, even if it's for like a split second, just to tell the audience exactly what's going on and what they're thinking right now. Really adds a lot of depth to the characters that gives me more incentive to play the actual game, which leads to actual story development. And I'm also one of those people that enjoy a good story being told. And I'm not like bashing the modern writing, and I'm not bashing any kind of writing for that matter, because like opinions differ. But I will say though, like I do like the light-hearted tone that a lot of the stories have nowadays. But I feel like if it had like the same writing as like a mixture of Unleashed and Heroes specifically, I feel like the characters could really benefit from that kind of storytelling.
I mean, okay, like in my case, like for like when it comes to the question like what makes a Sonic game like truly feel like we're like this is standing out on its own from the franchise, is the sense of earning speed, like the sense of earning the speed. Because one thing that people like to criticize like the adventure games or other, because like the game glitches out if you're going in a certain way too fast or whatever. And personally, I always had a problem with the classic games, because the classic games, like some people go like, oh, you're still earning the speed. Like, yeah, but in exchange of punishing you for not knowing the level as a first-time player. Like that's always been in my case that the major aspect. Like, you're trying to spin dash here. You don't know that there's a wall of like in a few seconds away. Well, fuck you. like things like that. But
Oh,
meanwhile,
I
in the
wholeheartedly agree with that.
meanwhile in the adventure games or even the boost formula, the speed is something that you decide to use, knowing what's up ahead a little bit more. Like you have a bit of a more sense of consciousness of like, okay, I'm literally around platforms. I think I can take my time here, or I'm slippering in this area in Sonic Lost World. I can stop pressing the wrong button, despite the fact there's a wrong button to begin with. But we'll get to that in a bit. um, like well, but like the sense of speed is what defines Sonic. Like that is the whole the blast processing shit. But it's in a sense like you decide to go fast. Like that is something that you can do, not necessarily that you have to. But like with that said, like there's also like the reason why I say that is because how many games do you think that follow the philosophies that you guys have for Sonic?
Well, to quickly actually comment on what you said, like how like speed should be earned and everything, I do agree with like a lot of your points. But also one thing that I do feel like I should bring up is like what you're really describing to me, like saying how speed should be given, and the classic games don't really accommodate that. They just kind of expect you to know exactly what's up ahead. A lot of the times, a lot of Sonic games, especially Unleashed, really don't comply with knowing what's ahead. For example, like kind of like in a lot of Unleashed stages, they just kind of expect you to know what's up ahead without any given warning. Kind of like backtracking in the Crash Bandicoot games, where like, you know, if you have to go back in the level, the camera doesn't zoom out or anything. I feel like that's the exact same problem with Unleashed. Like, they just expect you to like get used to the stage the hard way. Because I know back when I first played Unleashed, when I was because it was the first Boost game I ever played besides Generations, which Generations does comply with that feature, where it does show you exactly a lot of the tips and scenes where you can use the boost and where it's best used, because the camera accommodates that. But the camera, to me, doesn't accommodate Unleashed all. It doesn't zoom out well enough, or it's too zoomed in on Sonic, or it's at a wrong angle. More likely or not, I'm running into spikes and walls and bottomless pits and Unleashed way more than I have in other Boost games, which thankfully do get the Boost formula done correctly. I'm not the biggest fan of colors, but I do like how it does let you know when it's okay to use the Boost, as well as Generations, and dare I say it, even Forces, even though all you do is press the Boost button, but it still works.
I will kind of argue that colors like hold your hand a little bit more than most Boost games out there, if not all of them. But I see your point. But like the major
because I will still say yes, it does hold my hand a little bit, but considering the previous Boost game, which basically threw you into the deep end with an anchor tied behind your waist, I feel like holding your hand a little bit is a bit more warranted. It's acceptable. I can give it a.
It's a kid's game.
Yeah,
it's a kid's game.
It was aimed at like not necessarily to a Kirby demographic, but it stopped trying to be a cooler Mario or something like that. It was trying to be like appealing to those as well. But like the major aspect of like my question is that if your answer is not all of them, then we're getting to the major problem with Sonic as a whole, or at least in a personal aspect. And before anything, because this is kind of talking like about politics, like this is all a matter of perspective. Like I said, the gray line, right and wrong at the same time. Just saying. Like we're not trying to change anyone's minds here with our opinions or anything. We're just kind of establishing that whatever we say right now, it's part of our own perspectives, and it's kind of an actual thing that Sonic had or has, if you still want to consider it that way, which is there's a lot of variety in the Sonic franchise that I consider it impossible to really make a game for everyone, like because we have the big tree, like the big tree in terms of like what defines Sonic, which was the classic games, the adventure games, and the Boost games. Like, but if you actually think about it, it's a bit more complicated than that. Like, not so much, but still, like we can at least put a couple more into the equation. Um, like because
Yeah.
like you had the classic games which were about like earning your speed. Like you earn the speed by replaying the games, like replaying the stages and everything. However, it came with the downside that okay, if I'm being punished for not knowing the level for to begin with, then what's there to assume that I'm gonna enjoy it afterwards? Like we're gonna talk about those those major three first. So like that is my stand on the classic games. Like they're not bad. They're actually really good at what they want to do, but what they want to do is a little bit demanding to players. Like in the context of okay, what do you want to play? This platformer that is just about like learning the mechanics as you follow through, or this one that is gonna punish you for not knowing what's ahead, but if you know what's up ahead, it's gonna be the most rewarding thing ever.
Yeah, and I think Mickey had something to say about that.
It's a weird thing. So, I'm trying to see if I still remember what it was. Oh, come on, you goddamn brain.
Big brain time.
Well, yeah, no, it's the thing. Oh, I think I got it. So the thing is, like, what I was saying a little bit earlier is like it's for kids, but it's not exactly. And the thing is, the reason why it's going downhill is it and I'm not saying it should go back to this, but like it lost the whole idea of not trying to be Mario. That's where I think it's starting to lose itself. It's like it stopped trying to not be Mario, and so it's treading ground that Mario has already done, and kind of making it a point where it's like this is stale, it's stagnant, but there's nothing they can do about it because people will always complain no matter what.
Yeah, like and again, and I mentioned this because again we have Sonic Mania, which was on a certain way like a mostly positive reception. Like it got a good reception, it got good sales, it got good everything. And meanwhile, you have Forces that it's probably one of the most mixed games I have ever seen from people when it comes to talk about it. Like some people like it because of what it tried to be. Others, like myself, don't like it because it's the epitome of missed potential in the Sonic franchise. Like, and others just fucking hated it because it wasn't something that they wanted, or just for whatever reason. I'm not gonna jump onto assumptions, but like I want to say that maybe that was the reason. Like Sonic Forces wanted to be so many different things. Meanwhile, Sonic Mania was one thing, a classic game. That's all it wanted to be, and that's all it was, and that's what it sold you. And that's what people liked it because, like, they knew, like, in a certain way, like, those that criticized it couldn't really go that far into it because they knew what they were getting. They were being told like this is not trying to be an adventure or Sonic 4 Episode 1 or whatever. Like, this is literally Sonic 2, like, or Sonic how can I put it? Like it's a Sega Genesis game. It's what you're gonna get. Don't ask me for something else. Fuck you. Like,
yeah.
Like, I mean, while Sonic Forces, you're like, oh, you want this, you want this, you want this, you want this, you want this. Oh, wow, you want fleshed out things? Fuck you, bitch. But with that said, we're getting onto this kind of conversation already. But my major aspect is the focus is what ended up giving Mania a bigger positive reaction than Forces, or to even Lost World, or to Generations, or to many other games, because they try to always add something that is not quite necessary. Again, we always go with the Warthog and whatever, but just to go back, like, Anthony, anything to say about the classic stuff, like, before we jump into the other one?
I personally really enjoy the classic games, although I will say that this is probably a controversial one, but my least favorite is Sonic 2. While my favorite is obviously Sonic 3 and Knuckles, but I love Sonic Mania. I love Sonic 1, and I get a kick out of Sonic CD. But at the same time, I don't think it's my personal favorite era. Like, they're consistently good. I'll give it that. Just like I said about the Dreamcast games,
chaotic.
like they could be pretty good. We don't talk about the chaotics.
I'm just saying.
But but then again, you also got 3D
3D Blast.
3D Blast was kind of fun. Okay.
Spinball. Sonic Spinball was okay.
That was also a pretty fun one just to mess around with.
Dr. Robotnik's Mean Bean Machine. I personally love Dr. Robotnik's Mean Bean Machine.
If anything, everyone was pleased with that.
Yeah.
It was fun to get my ass kicked by fucking the second one. Dude, I was
Scratch
so bad.
and grinder.
No, I was so shit at that game. I still am. I can't even get past the 3rd fucking level. And I had save states.
What the hell? But whatever. I mean, I say that, but I still need to beat Dr. Mario 64. But okay, like, and again, but it had a consistent image that it wanted to represent. But I think even the classic era, if we actually talk about the classic era in terms of timeline, there is a lot to unpack there. Like, you still have, again, Sonic 3D Blast, you have Sonic Labyrinth, you have Tails Adventure, you have Tails Sky Patrol, you have...
I thought that was Game Gear, though.
I mean, it's still part of the classic era. It's still...
Does it count, though? Because there's still Sonic 1 and 2 on the Game Gear titles, which are honestly completely different. Well, except for one, of course.
I would say Sky Patrol technically counts because wasn't it parts of his moveset from Sky Patrol became canon in the 3D games, like the ring throwing?
I mean, you can also technically say that it was a mix-up too, because Tails fucking throws bombs in Adventure, but
yeah.
Well, and Sonic did get his homing attack from 3D Blast.
Yeah, and I'm not saying that those are canon or whatever. Just like from that classic era, they already had that established thing of we're gonna do whatever we think of. We're gonna do.
I will say though another thing, because I'm one of those people that grew up actually playing the Genesis games through the Mega Collection Plus on the PS2.
Yeah.
Look, I'm gonna be honest here, and this honestly kind of benefits you, AGM. When I first played the classic games, they kicked my fucking ass. and when I first played 3D Blast, I was just like, what the fuck is this shit? Like, legit, here I am, a kid on his birthday, got the combo pack of Sonic Mega Collection Plus and Shadow the Hedgehog, decides to play Sonic Mega Collection Plus because I think, oh cool, more Sonic games into one. And then I play Sonic 1 and then I die on the first level. What is this?
Yeah. But again, like what I'm mostly saying is that during that time they already had that kind of identity of like, we're gonna make multiple kind of games, which again it makes sense even more in that era because again Sega was competing with Nintendo, and Nintendo even had Mario RPG, they had Yoshi Safari, if you want to count that, Mario's Missing if you want to talk.
I don't even think that was actually official though.
Yeah, most likely not, but again, like, okay, for the sake of it, you have Donkey Kong. Technically, that counts as a Mario game if you want to think about it.
You have Mario Kart.
You have Super Mario Kart, yeah, and you have Mario RPG as well as the main platformers. Meanwhile, on Sega you had a Metroidvania, you had the Sonic Labyrinth stuff, you had Spinball, you had the Game Gear games, you have you have many different things to pick up, like just by the brand alone. So like, and it's kind of where you start seeing the situation, like, because you also have Sonic Drift, which, yeah, insert Sonic Paradox joke here, like, in that way, Sonic Drift, like, yeah, but, like, you have those moments, but most of those games are considered either solid or just harmless. Like, again, like, Tales of Adventure is considered harmless, or even good potential, like, I think even the Sonic Hacking Contest kinda wanted to do something with it, but it didn't really go anywhere, and obviously the original 4 games, like 5 if you wanna count Tree and Knuckles separately, like they are being used to this day as showcase of what game development can go, like how far they can go with potential of physics and everything, and as well as level design. So like, but you have 5 games, 4 again if you want to, out of 12, at least 10 that are like that don't really get that much memory at the end of the day. um, because not every people like the only thing that people talk about the Game Gear games is Bridge Zone.
Oh my god, yeah, no, because like everybody knows that song for some reason.
Yeah.
Dude, because it's like the first side scroller ever in a Sonic game, and people were still like, "Oh shit! Oh fuck! Wait! No, I'm not used to
Yeah.
this. Fuck! I hate this level.
Yeah.
It's infamous."
Yeah, there's also that. And but we can say that even by the very beginning, they already had that whole idea of doing more things with Sonic than just the main intentions, which is the platformer stuff.
Yeah.
And again, people were okay with it, or again, but again, it's mostly because again it was the console wars and Sega was doing their own stuff. And then we jump into one that I still enjoy. Again, I still enjoy, but goddamn, does the internet show me that there's not necessarily something wrong with me, but goddamn, am I missing? I am missing something here. The adventure games. Yeah, I know you have thoughts here, but but again, like during that specific era, like if we want to go with the adventure era, we're just gonna have to go from Adventure 1 all the way until you know which. So, and again, I still think that those games have, like, if there's one thing that I will give every single one of them, even fucking Shadow the Hedgehog, is the fact that they have so much identity. They have so much personality to the point where, yeah, this thing, the fucking Shadow the Hedgehog killing Sonic with the gun is what the fuck. But I remember that the most other games out there. I remember.
Yeah.
Bruh, I'm sorry, but when I was a kid, I got so freaking butthurt at that sight. Like I was like, no, what happened was Sonic just got pushed down by an alien, and Shadow's just like, don't worry, homie, I got this.
What the?
But
No, I'm just sitting there like,
no.
bye, sucker.
Just like, no, in my case, I'm just like, does he look like a bitch? Like,
He's a bitch.
again, I was a kid that watched Pulp Fiction when he was 7, so whatever.
Ah, yes.
But
Look, it's also in my defense, you know, like since Shadow used Chaos Control, it kind of I thought that he only could use that because of good affinity, you know, from
Good
doing hero
affinity.
good infinity and
shut the
beyond.
fuck up. Pasta dealer.
Okay, Edgy the Hedgy.
Exactly. You better fucking listen to me. It's my game.
But
God damn it.
but again, like because the adventure games, like the main ones, 1 and 2, they're like you can just go to the internet and there's probably already somebody disliking this video because we mentioned this fucking thing. But again, like those games have so much fucking personality that was their major focus this time. Like, okay, with the level design, it's like we're still gonna work on that because it's a fucking video game, but we're gonna try to tell something more with it, with what we already established in Sonic 3, which was, again, I still stand that from Sonic 1 to Sonic Heroes, there is kind of a story here, like being told throughout all those games, but like the whole point was maybe not necessarily like super production quality in terms of cutscenes until Adventure 2, but the idea of like making a fully fleshed out world where everything connects and everything kind of makes sense was kind of cool for the time, like, and something that not especially platformers, they didn't really work around that during that time. So
Yeah.
It's all coming together.
Oh yeah, it's all come together.
Okay, but before I just keep going on that, because I think this is gonna be the major part of our podcast this time. Anthony, you just go when it comes to this era. What do you like? Where do you go with this and all?
About the Dreamcast?
Like just play from Sonic 1 or from Sonic Adventure 1 all the way to fucking 06.
From 06? Honestly, I think... Okay. when it comes to the adventure games, Adventure 1 and 2, I think that they're really solid video games. They're definitely flawed, but I think that which chuckle at, Mickey? I heard that chuckle.
No, I was that was actually a burp. That was actually straight up a burp that I was trying to not make noise with.
Well, shit. I lost my train of thought.
Like,
oh wait, no,
They're
I got it.
flawed.
Like they're definitely flawed video games, but like they still have a lot of lasting impacts on a lot of people actually when it comes to Sonic games, and as well as Heroes. And I'm not saying Heroes because, well, my first Sonic game, obviously I'm gonna have some bias towards it, but I still will admit that in terms of actual story, I think it's the best written. If I'm gonna be honest, I know that a lot of people will disagree with that, but it's just what I think. Shadow the Hedgehog was probably my biggest, probably still is my biggest guilty pleasure, because I do like the game, but I still hate it at the same time because I don't like going back to Westopolis 10 freaking times. Like, anybody who complained about Sonic Heroes, how you had to play 4 teams just to get the final story, doesn't really compare to Shadows when you have to play the game 10 times, just to get one final story, which is canon, when the whole game leads you to believe that any ending you get is canon if you choose hard enough. Because a lot of people at the time still thought that it was, just a spin-off game. No ending is fully canon.
I
but
mean,
like,
it is.
Well, it is, but at the same time, it's officially canon to the storyline. Which, yeah, it's the same thing with Black Knight, but we'll get to that later. And then meanwhile, Sonic 06 was the only game where I'm just like, okay, I like it. Because, honestly, and I'm not saying that because it was my first PS3 game. Yeah, it was my first fucking PS3 game. I got that and Generations.
I think for a lot of people, both on the 360 and the PS3, like that was their first game, which is because, again, it was so hyped up during that time. But again, that's why it got a bestseller's point, because everybody bite the bait, and then
plus it was a launch title, for both consoles.
And then they played it,
And it's not even 06's fault for being how it is.
I mean, it is I mean, it's not the game's fault because it's not a human, but like, I know what you mean.
Like if Sonic were a human, people would just be like, "Yeah, fuck you, 06, you suck," and I'm just like, it's not his fault, it's the parents' fault.
Yeah. Anyway, we're getting a little off track. Continue.
No, yeah, we're getting off track. But like, no, like I still will admit that, like, in terms of the Dreamcast, or if we want to count, Shadow the Hedgehog and Sonic 06 in that category as well, I do think that that they were at least consistent. Although going off rails with Shadow in 06, admittedly, I still think that they had a clear understanding of what they wanted to do, starting with Sonic Adventure 1, and then bounce back a little with Sonic Heroes. They still knew what they wanted to do. They wanted to create a more lighthearted feel to it instead of having, so much drama. And then they cranked that shit back up with Shadow in 06.
Yeah.
So, but in terms of gameplay, like, it was still the same scenario. Like, you didn't have the boost formula, and most of the levels did try to accommodate you a lot of the time with stuff that's coming up ahead. Most notably with 06, because although it wasn't exactly coded the best way, it was pretty damn clear what you're supposed to do in the level and how you're supposed to do it. But yeah. I'm not defending Silver's rolling ball segment.
I was about to say,
in Desert Ruins. No, fuck that.
I was about to say, like, yeah, it's very clear what they wanted to do on that stage, to grab a box and glitch the fucking gate. But
it's not like it's okay. Hardware-wise, it's designed poorly, but gameplay-wise, it is designed pretty okay.
I have said this multiple times. Like, it's okay that you like any game, like any fucking game. I get it. Like, and it's okay that you like Sonic 06 because, again, there's a lot of potential here, and if there's a reason why it's still being modded to this day, or even built from the ground up to be what it was supposed to be. Again, to give a quick shout out, like the Chakra X's. No, that Chakra X, no, that's another guy.
Chakra X does everything wrong with videos.
Yeah, no, I mean, that's a different thing. But the guy making Project PC 06 on Unity, like, that guy is putting his ass off doing what the game was supposed to be. And as well as many other people, ever since the 360 emulation actually got good, like maybe not like still not optimal as Dolphin, but it's not really, but it's not bad anymore.
Yeah.
And now you're seeing people like there's a reason why that game, that one in particular, is the one being reconstructed, remodded, like, and just because everyone can see what the fuck it's supposed to be, and they like the idea, but the servers never lived up.
Yeah.
But the major aspect that I want to say, like the adventure eras where, yeah, everyone goes like with those major games. There's a lot to unpack with just this one era. There's a lot. Like you have,
Oh yeah.
like you
There
have,
is.
like you have the adventure, you have heroes, you have shadow, you have like 06 can count as an adventure style, yes, and then you have the advanced games, then you have Sonic the Fighters if you want to count that because that's how many people got to play it through the Gems collection. Then you have fucking I don't know Sonic Battle, like you
Sonic
have
Riders.
Sonic Riders, you have
Yep.
there was another one.
Sonic Chronicles: The Dark Brotherhood.
Oh yeah, that
We
piece
don't-
of shit.
We don't even
Oh,
talk
wait.
about that.
Oh, wait.
We don't talk about
Wait,
that.
no, that's modern. That is definitely a modern game.
Yeah, like if you wanna go there, yeah, like, but like you have at least I counted at least 5 different kind of gameplay styles with that different kind of tone, with that different goal, with that different mindset. Well, not necessarily a different mindset, but you have that many stuff that was built or showcased. Like unlike Tails Adventure, people wanted you to get Sonic Advance. They wanted you to get Sonic Battle. They really showed it like, no, this is our Sonic game for this year. This
Mm-hmm.
or for this handheld season or whatever. Like they really
Handheld
showed.
season.
I don't. Yeah, whatever. Like they put those. They gave hype to those just as much as they will give Heroes or Shadow the Hedgehog or 06. Like and so like that's kind of where the things start really falling apart with the argument because people again not everybody, if you were not growing up with Sonic Adventure 2 for that matter, you were probably growing up with Sonic Advance or again any of the advanced games. Again, like I said, let's imagine that someone grew up with Sonic Battle. If that's the case, then I'm so sorry for you because there hasn't been a game for you for over a decade.
And I will say, like, also,
Mhm.
like, whether a lot of people would probably like to admit or not, I'm gonna be honest. I'm just assuming, correct me if I'm wrong, but if you're a Sonic fan, you most likely started off playing either Adventure 1, 2, or Heroes. Like, unless you're like Mickey, who started off with a classic game. Other than that, yeah, no, like, most people around my age did play the adventure games first.
No, it is. I think it was I think it's socially stated that it was either Sonic 2 or SA2.
It's one of the twos.
Like
I'm pretty sure I played 3 first.
no, like, but like because again in terms of like what game was the most popular at the time, it was apparently those two. Like those were the big two for people. Like they got people in.
My first classic game was Sonic 3.
Well, okay,
I'm staring at my
alright,
Sonic and Knuckles cartridge right now.
alright, I
Yeah,
get
the
it.
cartridge? I love it.
Yeah, no, I played it on the Genesis.
Oh, hell
Yep.
yes.
Like, alright, you special unicorns, I get it. Like you. Like,
Am I a pretty
I have
unicorn?
6 siblings, so a lot of my consoles were hand-me-downs.
yeah, no, I get you. Oh, same here, my mom. But
Wait, AGM.
what?
Am I a pretty unicorn?
Anywho,
you're going-
Sonic Battle. Again, Sonic Battle is the game that I really that is my kind of my poster boy for my example for the thing that I'm putting up here. Let's just say that somebody out there has to be because again it's sold. If there was somebody out there that become a Sonic fan from Sonic Battle. Like fuck that guy, I guess, because there hasn't been anything for him for a while.
Yep.
Or ever since it happened. But and again, the gameplay wise, or at least in terms of the story mode, if I can say that that's where things fall apart, especially by Knuckles' story, is where shit falls apart. And it's a grinding mess and all of that. We can go on and on about that game, but again, it wasn't terrible. It knew what it wanted to be, and it was solid on the gameplay mechanic. But But again, it was just part of the problem with Sonic, especially during this time, because again, Tails Adventure, Tails Sky Patrol, the Game Gear games like Triple Chaos and all those games, those were just like, okay, here it is. Like, we have this for the Game Gear. Please buy our Game Gear. We swear
It's a
that,
Game Gear.
like we swear the six double A's is worth it. We swear that,
Six
but-
double A's every hour.
six double A's, Sly. But you, meanwhile here, the Game Boy Advance, a big deal, big game. It's like, buy this thing. This is gonna be like an amazing adventure. And to an extent, it had a good story. It had tons of personality, and it became a mess of a season in Sonic X. But you have that, like, and so again, let's just pretend that that person became a fan because of what that game had to offer. There's a story, presentation, aesthetic, everything. Then it hasn't been anything for that person for over a decade, and that person is probably bitter as fuck right now.
If you're watching this, I'm so sorry, sir.
No, we are so sorry. In the name of Sega, we are sorry that you got shafted.
I am so sorry.
We're sorry, but like, and then you have Shadow the Hedgehog and Sonic 06, which are considered like, this is where everything went to shit. And on both cases, again, it's okay if you like those games, but don't tell me that shit isn't raining when it's a waterfall down there. like you don't, like, there's clearly a problem in all of those. Like, again, Sonic 06 is a game that I consider subjectively enjoyable, and it's in a certain way good, but objectively speaking, again, it's bad. It's coded terribly, that there are things that don't fit in. Like, yeah, you're saying that, oh yeah, I know what to do. Yeah, but is the game gonna let you do it?
Probably not.
The best example I can give, because it was a common one for me, was the fucking invisible wall in Crisis City, where you're Sonic or Shadow, and if you try to homing attack, nothing's gonna happen, and you're gonna just drop it from the fucking drop it to the
Yeah,
bottom of
that's
the pit.
happened to me a few times. And this is also coming from the guy who decided to use the purple gem to completely skip most of Aquatic Base because of that damn ball
Yeah.
segment.
And again, like, I remember that one video from the completionist where it showed that even the max peak sections, people felt like, oh, we're hitting everything. No, that shit doesn't even have to hit to get you damage. Like, I remember somebody showing like a slow motion that you get hit despite being like 2 meters away from the fucking tree. But again, like, those are like, that's where, like, this thing is badly made, but it is enjoyable, and there's a lot of things that you can enjoy about it. So if you like the game, that's fine, but don't tell me it's objectively good. Like, because
It's ironically good. No, unironically good.
like, I guess, like, and Shadow
Yeah.
the Hedgehog, I am on the fence. Like, there is an argument between Shadow and Heroes, because Shadow at least has the wild card feature that you can actually, yeah, Westapple is 10 times. That's just one level. Everything else is your choice. Everything, like, you decide your playthrough every single time. And
You want to just make gunshot noises for an hour? Go ahead.
yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, yeah, you're still you're still being a shooter game. Because of what was popular at the time, Halo and Grand Theft Auto. Let's just do it. Fuck it.
Let's do it.
So
Let's go.
And personally, I don't even have a problem with the guns. I don't.
said the American one. Yeah, said the,
Hey,
I think it's just funny that it's now a joke, like an actual joke in the franchise.
yeah. No, like, and again, like, we can just go on and on about that part, and like, but at the end of the day, like, those games, like, that particular era is iconic for every reason, like, both bad and good reasons. Because you have the story that is kind of to a more grandiose thing, by going deep into Sonic Adventure 1 and 2. Then you have something that goes more fleshed out with the characters they already have with Heroes. Then you have crawling in my skin with fucking Shadow the Hedgehog, and then you have and then you have, again, I count 06 because it's still trying to be that, from that part of the era, despite the fact that it's technically where the reboot started.
Yeah.
So, but again, like what I'm saying, like we're just mentioning those games. You have the advanced games that are kind of connected to battle as well, and which is its own gameplay. I still don't know why like the only reason to play battle is when it comes to Sonic Advance fans is for Gemerald, like.
My son.
But exactly, like, again, like you're just told, like, oh, you want to know about this character's idea? Go play this fucking game that has nothing to do with the advanced games. Like in terms of gameplay. But those technically are the beginning of things like the boost formula or just that over-the-top speed kind of aspect, as well as co-op elements and all. Like you have things going on in the advanced games, but it's its own unique gameplay style. Hell, technically all those three games have their own little twists here and there when it comes to what makes all of them stand out. And then you also have what was it? Oh yeah, Sonic Pinball, but that's a different thing. And then you have what's probably the most consistent, but the one that is kind of the least talked about, and maybe because of time gaps by now, because people that grew up with the adventure games and the classic games are the ones that are more vocal about it, because the other ones are technically kids or still very, very young people. The boost formula with Rush, Unleash. If you want to count, we can go with the storybook series. You have.
Oh, that's its own topic.
That's its own kind of can of worms.
Yeah, but it's still following that idea. Like, okay, we're just gonna make Sonic fast and nothing more. Although again, it was they were still part of that transition point. I will agree. But this is kind of where Sonic just became secondary, like because they didn't want to be more than just a good franchise, which is still struggling to be, but because as we are just establishing right now, we have so many elements that have been in the history of the franchise, to the point where, again, how can you make something to please everybody if you have done almost everything imaginable with this one character?
That's yeah, it's ridiculous sometimes.
Yeah, which is why, like I said, I'm pretty sure that the major reason why Sonic Mania is critically well received is because at no point did it try to be something else than a 2D Sonic game. But again, because you have the Sonic Rush games, and Rush Adventure became something completely different, like something with RPG elements, and then you have Brotherhood, which again, story-wise, I would have liked to know what was gonna happen, but it didn't go anywhere, so we're not gonna go anywhere with that shit.
We don't want to talk about the reasons why it didn't go anywhere, because that's a whole other topic that could be talked about for multiple hours.
Yeah.
Oh god, yes. Although I will say I wouldn't mind a return of the storybook series if I'm going to be 100% honest. But moving on.
Yeah, I get it. But and again, like from the story, like we have the major one, which is like the one that when people think of the Boost era, they think of two games, like not even Colors or Forces. They think of either Unleash and Generations.
Yeah.
What? Like,
I can't blame them for not including Colors, because let's be honest here, you're not really boosting that much in that game.
I mean, it's still considered a boost game, but it's not as memorable as these two.
Yeah.
Oh, you mean the 90% Sideways game? Yeah.
Again, like I don't have the sources for it, but from what I heard, like they really just wanted to make a Mario game with Sonic Colors. Like that was their focus. That was
with Colors. I have a lot to talk about another game that comes up later.
Again, I still enjoyed Last World for multiple reasons, but I get what you're going.
Yeah.
But this is where, at least from my point of view, it gets a bit tricky. Because technically, out of the three, this is the most consistent one. Like it knows what it wants to be, and it does it. But somehow it's the worst. But at least by this point, at least because, like I said, say what you want about Shadow the Hedgehog and Sonic 06, people still talk about those to this day. They caused an impact, a negative one or a fucking meme level of one, but people recognize Shadow the Hedgehog and Sonic 06 more than, again, Lost World or sometimes or Colors DS. People forget that that shit was a thing, despite personally thinking that Lost World DS is the Colors DS.
Sonic Colors had a DS port?
Are you kidding me? You don't know that?
Wait, you did?
No, I actually didn't fucking know that.
Oh my god.
It's technically the third Rush game. Like, it's technically, that's pretty much the way it goes in terms of gameplay. And personally, I prefer that one. I prefer that one over the Wii version. The Wii version is good. Like, it's not, like, in terms of being a game, it's good.
Got some bobs.
Like, but I think the other one, by being the third one in terms of gameplay, they knew what they were doing better there.
Yeah.
But so you have those that again are put in a good spot, but people don't really talk about those because they weren't that memorable. At least if I talk for myself.
Yeah.
Like I'm gonna give the spot to you guys because again I don't have that much to say about those games. I can talk for hours about Elysian Generations and even Lost World, but everything else I'm like, this really isn't anything that I can go on about.
Yeah.
I'll let Mickey handle that since I think he said Mickey is your favorite.
Yeah, I just realized I never actually got to say anything about the Dreamcast era or the Adventure era.
I'm so sorry.
Shit.
You're good. You good. You were on a good track. You were fine. I'm not.
Actually, again, we're just getting there, but like, so just go touch on that before we jump there.
Yeah. So, for me, the Adventure era is a little iffy in places because of the fact that it was starting out something, but. And like I will say this, I played the games, I enjoy them. They're good games, but I don't think they need to have the status that they do of you have to like them or you are not a fan. Because it's not how it works. I'll say this. I played Heroes a lot. Heroes was my first 3D game. So like I have a little bit with that era. Heroes was my first 3D game. I played the hell out of it. PS2 port for life, baby.
Yeah. Okay.
Bro, I don't care what anybody says. I grew up playing the PS2 version. I started out with the GameCube version, but I had a lot of fucking fun memories with the PS2.
I don't even know where the case is, but I'm staring at this my Sonic Heroes case. Not the game. I don't know where the game is itself, but the case I still have.
Mm-hmm. It's just hiding.
But no, I don't have the nostalgia goggles on from playing it in my childhood because, like, you're bringing up Adventure 1 and 2. I think I played a little bit of Adventure 1 when I was a kid, but I barely remember that. But like, I never played the advanced games. I've never played them.
Really?
Nope.
I haven't either.
It's really funny because like everybody gives this high praise to the advanced games. I'm like, I need to play them because they sound actually really fun. They look really fun. I never have the desire.
Like I played Advanced 1, couldn't get into it. I don't know what it was. I just couldn't get into it. Not saying it's a bad game. I'm not saying it's a bad series. I just can't get into it.
I will say this: I'm more of a story-based kind of person. So like, the adventure games kind of lose me a little bit because their story, while it's in some cases good, it loses you because it kind of gets very vague in the middle and then like rams you into something that you're like, wait, what the fuck? What was happening? Like sometimes it doesn't make sense, and like. With the boost formula, they put so much fluff into that, which you remember some of the weird stuff from the boost formula because it's fluffed out enough to where it's like they reference it later on instead of just kind of pushing it pushing past it. But Uh, it's and like I like the adventure games. I just want to state that I really do. They just if we have anything related to that, I don't think we can strictly rely on the adventure formula. I'll say that much.
I mean, even the adventure formula again when changing since the second one,
Yeah.
like because again you have Heroes, which is still technically an adventure formula, but it wants to do a different mechanic, and then you have Shadow the Hedgehog, and then Sonic 06. Like you have different takes on that. But
Yeah,
keep
agreed.
keep going.
And like going into like the modern games, it's like uh they dropped the adventure formula, which I don't think they necessarily should have. They should have tried to kind of keep it incorporated, at least to slowly lean out of it instead of like just throwing you into something else, because a lot of people liked the adventure formula. And I think '06, you were talking about how '06 is one of the most like well-known games, even if it's, you know, notoriously bad in some cases.
Uh-huh.
The I '06 has a interesting story. It's a weird concept. You know, it pisses me off that it writes itself out out the door. As a time travel buff, it's not as simple as that. There are more intricacies to how you would do it, but they at least cleaned it up nice enough to where it's like it doesn't bother me too much.
Like, to be fair, I will always say that the final story somehow, like, after Sonic dies, like the whole final, the whole climax, like from the moment you fight Solaris to the very end, it feels good. It feels tremendously good. Like you,
I find it funny that Sonic dying is part of the best part of the game.
I mean, like again,
It's about time.
like, again, the final story is a fucking mess because the end of the world is not a good stage and everything. Like, but again, from the moment I fought Solaris to the ending where you just see Sonic looking at the moon, like, okay, no, like I for us, like, it felt good, it felt right.
Yeah.
And again, I don't get that considering the fact that again it's a fucking reboot of the series to begin with. That's why it always caught me off guard. That's why.
Yeah, like the thing is, it's supposed to be a reboot of the series, but it's technically not even rebooting anything.
Yeah.
That's the thing, like, it says it's a reboot, but it doesn't feel like a reboot. You know what I mean?
No. I guess it was just trying to be a reboot of the brand itself and not the actual series.
But again, like, it's hard to say because you have multiple elements there.
Yeah.
And I get that what you're saying about the whole like bringing the formula, but they did it once, and it's technically the only game I hate. Last
Oh
World,
wait, what game?
Last World 3DS,
Oh, Lost World.
The 3DS
Oh.
game, because again, the Wii U game I actually like it. I think the level design is the worst part about it, and I'm glad that mods are finding their ways to make it work even better. But the 3DS game is the only one of all games that I have played. I haven't played all of them, but I played a good chunk of them through emulation and official release. Fuck it. That one is the only one that I actually rage quitted
Oh my god.
because god damn is it like I said, it punishes like the major thing that Sonic has always gotten, and I hear people legitimately say like it punishes you for being too fast. This one punishes you for existing. This one, like it's
This one punishes you for taking a breath. You're dead.
just like,
This
again,
game punishes you for paying $40.
like again, like you're jumping, like everything is do it good or you're gonna die. Literally, we're not even gonna put a spike here. You're gonna die. You're gonna, like everything
Yeah,
is a bottomless
no.
pit. But again, like continue.
Well, I will say, with the thing with Lost World is it was so late in the game that they kind of lost touch with the adventure formula.
Yeah, I mean, again, there's a part of me that loves the gameplay style in both, but there's the level design that always drives me nuts, because one again the Wii U doesn't know what it wants to be. Sometimes it's fucking Pac-Man, sometimes it's sometimes it's your Mario Galaxy kind of level, sometimes it's your typical Sonic stuff, sometimes you're just grinding on stuff. It's like it's a what the fuck of a game. But
Is it sad that those grind-only levels are some of my favorite levels?
I mean, I'm more curious.
Not at all.
I'm more curious about how can you enjoy a game like the final one, which is like, all right, you know the run button, don't use it. We're gonna kill you. You do it. We're gonna kill.
Oh, the final boss or
No.
whatever.
No, the final grind level.
Oh, yeah. No. I remember that. That's the only one I hated.
Like, and
I loved all the other ones. They were fun.
like
Good music.
Oh no, I mean the music is like the soundtrack and the soundtrack is fucking great in that game, but like you have but even the reason why I like Last World, like I actually do enjoy it, is because again it like even though it doesn't make sense and it's inconsistent even in and of itself, it still has more personality that like in terms of aesthetic and looks than for me Colors, because Colors was a theme park that was fun in some areas, but it didn't really do that much for me. And Last World was, yeah, it was such a what the fuck of a fever dream, to the point where I remember that game a lot more than most Sonic games out there.
Yeah.
But again, before anything, like you guys continue with the modern era, because I have my thoughts on it, but you guys go.
Yeah, so I've only played like 5 minutes of Colors, and my opinion of it is like, I mean, I should play it again and get a better opinion on it, but it's a mixed opinion kind of. It's like it's got interesting stuff, but I don't like the idea of how much side scrolling how much side 2D it basically.
2.5D dimension.
Yeah, 2.5D is like, come on, man. It's like you're legitimately taking something that is in 3D and you're putting it sideways. Why? You made all these models. If you're gonna do freaking 2D, you use sprites.
Yeah.
Or do the
way
new Super
more.
Mario Bros. Thing where like
That's still sprites.
There's still, well, I mean, yeah, but they're also like full-fledged like 3D models in some areas, you know. But they still
they're all sprites. They're all 100% sprites.
the new Super Mario Bros. Series as well.
Yeah.
Wow.
They have they have things going on, but at the end of the day, they're sprites in the same way the sprites in Donkey Kong Country were sprites.
Yeah.
Like because
They had depth to them, but they were actually images.
yeah, like because I think if you played Mario Maker 1 and the cave level, the fucking Goombas keep the lighting of the green of the normal levels.
Yeah.
But again, I going a little bit into that. The major
Uh,
problem. Go ahead.
No, go. Sorry, I was moving.
The major problem is that both Colors and Generations had the whole thing of the handheld game. The handheld version, which is makes for like if I wanted the 2D game, I will play the DS version or the 3DS version of Generations. Like, but again, that you have the Rush games, you have technically that's where the Sonic and the Olympic games started. Which again, the winter games are fucking great.
Oh fuck yeah.
I've only played one of them, and I can't remember which one it was.
The one that I recommend.
Dude, AGM Mario and Sonic at the Olympic Winter Games 2010, baby.
Yeah,
Let's go.
the one on the Wii was like, goddamn, like that is.
I think that was the one I played.
That's top tier of the
Like,
Olympic Games.
That
for me.
one has
top
such
tier.
a person. I felt like I was actually seeing an event, like a party event there, but
Balloon.
yeah.
The balloon one, the panel one, that one was my favorite.
the skate
and
ones,
then the
fantasy,
spin the wheel one.
the fantasy events where you pretty much play Sonic Adventure while skating.
Yeah, exactly. I fucking loved it. I
Mm-hmm.
loved every second of it. But like going to like Colors though. Like here's the thing. I played Colors multiple times. Like it was the game that I remember. It was the first Sonic game I ever pre-ordered. So I got the Sonic hat with it and everything. Very cool time. I got it. I came home, played like 2 hours of it, and I was thoroughly disappointed. Like, I've never been more disappointed playing a Sonic game in my life. The first thing that threw me off was the voice acting. It threw everybody off. Don't even try to counteract me on that. And, like Mickey said, like, it was mainly 2D, and I'm just like, what the fuck? Like, come on, and then even when you do get 3D spaces, they're just shallow. They're super shallow and have nothing going on in them, and you're just going on a linear line. And I do know that, like, a lot of critics love these games, so I'm thinking to myself, alright, do they just enjoy the most simplistic shit I've ever played in my life to the point where it does feel like Mario, just with a different sprite and much faster?
The major
Like-
aspect from what I've seen from a lot of people, at least when it came out, the major reason, again, when it came out, was that this wasn't a fucking train wreck. Like, there wasn't the game was not a train wreck, and it was just trying to be fun. Like,
Yeah.
and again, it succeeded at that, and it brought out a lot of good ideas. I do think that the co-op should have been split screen instead of one screen, because what the fuck, why are you doing that in a Sonic
That's
game?
garbage.
That's just bad design, I'm sorry.
Yeah, like, but those stages were fun. Like the whole Robotnik machine thing was kind of cool, and you unlock Supersonic for the first time in a lot of years for that. And again, like, you have a lot of stuff going on with that game, to the point where I can understand why people enjoy it. But again, like, that's where it goes back to the major point of this conversation. Like, people like Sonic Colors because it wasn't the stuff that people grew up with the adventure era. It wasn't trying to be a deep story. It wasn't trying to have a bigger scale, or in some stages become fucking Dragon Ball. Like, you have a simple Genesis story, but with the personality of previous games, which again, it worked, but it worked so well that apparently they thought that that's just what that they needed to do. And again, it only affected the one game, and we'll get to that one because that one pisses me the fuck out.
Yeah.
But continue.
So now I'm just gonna jump all the way to because I played Unleashed, but I'm gonna jump to Generations first, just to
Again, I think Unleashed is one of our major ones, so we'll skip that one for later.
yeah. Playing Generations for me was a very interesting experience because at that time I only played, let's see, I only played the Genesis games and Heroes.
Okay.
So I had no idea what the hell was going on after that.
Yeah, I get you.
Like, I didn't even play CD at that point. So I, like, fighting Metal Sonic, I'm like, what the fuck is this? Who is this? I've seen him around, but, like, who?
Like you got to the Genesis section and you're just like, all right, yeah, this is pretty cool. And then you get into Speed Highway and Metal Sonic, you're just like, what the fuck is this?
What am I doing? Why
Mom,
am I
come pick me
here?
up. I'm scared.
Get mom.
But
it's a stupid fun game. Like, I didn't even know what Perfect Chaos was, so when I saw that actually kind of freaked me out.
yeah, I get you.
Oh, go ahead.
No, you finish.
One thing I will say is I know there are different bosses in the 3DS version. I want to play the 3DS version, but I think what they should have done is they should have combined everything from the 3DS version into the version we got, like on PC and everything. Like, add those bosses, stretch out the time. Heck, you could add more. You could stretch out the story, make the story bigger, as if you did more stages throughout the history of the games, and like added more stages.
That's something that would have actually benefited the game so much, because
and you would have had more time to do the plot.
Because
if
the 3DS version, to begin with, the 3DS version is the most redundant of them all. I will say that with barely any doubt in my mind, because again, classic Sonic and modern Sonic both play in 2D. They both had the fucking spin dash. I don't know, like they not the spin dash. They both had the fucking homing attack, and their gameplay is practically the same shit. You go to the same levels.
But at the same time, though, like the levels, at least, like the levels from and bosses from the 3DS version would have greatly benefited the console version, or at least the PC, because that stretches out the time. And let's be honest here, Sonic Generations, I love that game, but it is short. I mean, it is really short.
And-
I could beat that game
And I can
easily
actually,
in one day.
I can actually approve to that idea because of one thing. At Generations Adventure, that one mod had Emerald Coast, and the 2D, the classic Sonic version was pretty much the 3DS version from what I recall. But they made a very interesting level design with the modern Sonic one, and goddamn it, did I love
So
that
not
shit.
not only that, but one thing that I wish they also brought back was actually the special stages used from the 3DS version, which was basically just the hero special stages.
Yeah.
Like, don't get me
Yeah.
wrong, I like, getting the Chaos Emeralds from Metal Sonic, Shadow, and Silver, and you could still do that. But I feel like bringing back the special stages instead of you just, beating the boss, then you instantly get the Chaos Emerald, just makes more sense to me because that leads me to believe that the bosses had the Chaos Emeralds with them to begin with.
And that would have just made the fight redundant. You should have lost in that situation, honestly.
Yeah.
Oh,
If you didn't
yeah.
have the Chaos Emerald.
But so like, and I have always said like, as much as like my favorite Sonic game is Adventure 2. I am a person that uses YouTube. I have seen everyone dying at random shit that shouldn't happen, and I get it. But I don't die at those things. I don't know why. I just by this point it's muscle memory or whatever. However, Sonic Generations is the one game that I can constantly like. If there was this one toddler for some fucking reason asking me like, hey, what is a Sonic game? What game should I play to become a Sonic fan? Well, first of all, I will say run. Don't be one. Fuck you.
don't come into this fandom. I'm not even in it, and I don't like being here.
Yeah.
Run
Like-
from it.
like-
The series taught me to run, and damn it, it taught me very well how to run. Run away.
But if I had to go with one game, is Generations. I think that's the best one to put somebody into it, because the 2D games are classics like AO. They are classic games, but they have their own spin to it, and they're very focused. Meanwhile, Generations is very light in every single aspect of it, to the point where you can just have fun with it. You have
I would
fun.
still kind of argue Heroes, but
Heroes is
but
the-
Generations makes sense.
Here, like Generations is just like it's short, it's light, it's fun, and it's challenging if you want it to be. If you like go ahead.
That's the thing is like, I could straight up tell you that they could if they mixed things from the 3DS version and did the PC or everything we have in the PC version, and then they actually rewrote it to actually have more content, and like each era of the games, like each up until like the Boost Formula games started, like they had cutscenes in between like each stage, like they
Yeah.
kind of did, but not really. Fleshing out more things and like, talking more about the situation, then it would have been maybe a good 8-hour game. A good 8-hour game, good story, good gameplay, good everything.
Yeah, and again, technically, Sonic Generations is not that short because you had the challenges, and
Yeah, you have the challenges, but they're not mandatory. Is more the thing.
Oh no, yeah, I get it, but like again, that is why I still recommend it even more, because you want the challenge stuff, yeah, well, you have all these stipulations and different things that you can do, and it becomes from a 4-hour adventure into a 14-hour adventure. But no, I completely get it, and it's constantly rewarding you for playing the fucking game by getting the soundtrack, the artwork, and the homing attack for Classic Sonic later on. Like you have like that game has so much going on to the point where like this is where they should have been. Like maybe like I still think that Unleash is the way to go for me, but I if they have just been Generations, like in terms of focus, I would have been fine. But no, we just needed Classic Sonic doing nothing, and a deep story that goes fucking nowhere, and a Sonic that
Someone dying and not dying, and it being a mistranslation.
and a Sonic that doesn't give a fucking fuck about anything. This is why I mentioned like Forces is the major reason, is the biggest one affected by the impact that Colors gave, because people like by that point they thought, oh, Colors did it well. Like, so what are we gonna do? Oh, just keep quirky jokes and shit, and keep Sonic being mockery and all that stuff. And here's the thing, because yeah, I ain't going there. That game, like, is like it. I put that game in the same way people put Endgame, like Avengers Endgame and Kingdom Hearts 3, but for a very negative reason. That game actively makes me just like, I'm done. I am done. I don't want to see this shit anymore. I saw everything that I needed. Fuck this.
Honestly, same here. Like, look, here's the thing. Like, Colors was the one that made me like rage quit a couple times, but I still beat the game. When I beat Forces, I didn't feel anything. I didn't feel, whew, finally I beat the game. I don't have to play this anymore. I just felt empty inside. I was just like, god damn. Like, it was one of those games where I just sat down afterwards. I put the game back, and honestly, I don't even fucking know where it is. I lost the game. Good riddance. and I'm just thinking to myself, Jesus fucking Christ, man, like, what did I just do to myself? Like, I felt bad that I played it. I felt bad for myself, and that's when I realized, fucking no, Colors isn't the worst Sonic game for me. It's Forces, because Colors, I can find some enjoyment out of it, but Forces, I can't find any enjoyment in it.
You feel
Not
bad?
one.
I bought it twice.
Oh come on.
God,
I pre-ordered it. I pre-ordered it once.
I pre-ordered it too.
But then I bought it on Steam.
I was
But
about
from
let-
mods.
let me-
So I at least
from
have
Humble
some
Bundle.
saving grace.
That's a good reason, but like, still,
It was
is it
10
enough?
bucks. It was 10 bucks, so I didn't pay the full like 30 bullshits.
But was it still worth it?
Yes, because mods made
Okay.
it so much funnier.
Okay, I get
I get
to be
that.
fair, we are getting that Chaos Zero boss fight, so yeah, we're getting somewhere. We're getting
We
Yeah,
are?
yeah. Oh yeah, no, someone's working on a Chaos Zero boss fight for that. Yeah.
About fucking time. That motherfucker was hyped up, but then was just like, oh yeah, no, I'm just gonna die.
just
Yeah,
die in a
no,
fucking
they-
cutscene.
Okay, so I have to talk about this. Sega's advertising is stupidly good, but that's the problem.
No, like, no, in this case, it wasn't, because from the very beginning, you see the problem, and it's in the face from the first fucking trailer, because the first trailer was like, oh, we're getting Sonic Generations 2. Then you get the fucking OC. Okay.
And then
Yeah.
you see Shadow
And-
as a villain.
Yeah, okay. And then you have Infinite. Oh, like, it just, like, it was a clusterfuck from the very
No,
beginning.
look, I'm sorry, but when I saw Classic Sonic, that was when I was just like, I'm done. I'm fucking done. I'm out.
No, what I mean by it's stupidly good is it's good at giving us an impression, and then thoroughly going in and just being like, oh, you thought this was a knife? No, it's a javelin that we're throwing at your
No,
head.
no, like, like, it feel like a bad improv, because again, like, it's good that we're here in Grand Hill. Like, it's an ER, bitch, shut up. I have a gun. Like, well, again, like, you have the OC, which is its own gameplay style. You have Classic Sonic that is just there because of Sonic Mania. Like, we go, oh, like, oh, we're placing this. The classic fans. No, you're not. Oh,
You're
one
making them
okay,
want to-
honestly, in my humble opinion, this is the way that I always saw it. I always saw this as like, technically, if this is the same Sonic from Mania, which Encore mode added on to Mania did confirm that yes, this is the same Sonic from Mania, then technically it's still the same Sonic from the classic games, and technically that would mean that it kind of fucks up the timeline just a little bit, because if we're thinking canonically, then it's Sonic 1, then I think Sonic CD, then Sonic 2, then Sonic 3, then Sonic Mania, then that would mean that Sonic Forces would be the next game after Mania, and then Adventure 1.
again,
But here's the problem. What about Generations?
Generations kind of establishes more that Sonic is the one that led to 3D Blast and then Adventure.
But at the same time, though, like you could still think to yourself, well, yeah, but it's still, but it's they're in their own separate timeline because there's no time there.
The major aspect is that Mania is supposed to be a different dimension. First of all,
But what pisses me off about that is how do they know it's a different dimension?
Yep,
And it's the exact same Sonic.
No. Again, oh no, the script is literally just bullet points and they try to make something out of it. But like, and again, people if people like it, fine, that's great, that's good. But don't tell me that like that shit doesn't lack potential, like doesn't have potential everywhere. And the major aspect is that I feel that game would have been better if it had actually been 3 different games. Like, and
you know, it'd be better if fan fiction writers actually did something with it.
Oh, you mean?
Sorry.
Oh, you mean that what they're doing? Like that again. Let's be real. Like, as much as the whole like, custom character is a common thing. Like, you have it in Xenoverse with Dragon Ball. You have it in pretty much every RPG going around every now and then. Like but again in Sonic it was clearly that people like we saw this thing called DeviantArt. We didn't like it, but we're gonna like, what the fuck is wrong with you guys? But we're gonna do something for you, despite the fact that you are a completely different side of the fan base, because most of those people grew up. Okay, I'm sorry, I'm not gonna. Yeah, that's a wrong assumption. But the people that are very into that tend to be the ones that grew up with one thing that I haven't even fucking touched in this conversation, which is everything that's not a video game. You have the cartoons. You have the cartoons that had a different tone. That you have Sonic Boom, which is also a different tone. You have the comics, which like what the fuck, Ken Penders? What the
Yeah, Ken Penders and then Ian came down from the heavens. I'm kidding.
I get it. It's okay.
But Ian did come down from the attic and be like, "I can fix this. I'm the handyman."
Yeah, like, but like you have. That is where another fracture of the situation can go. Like, some people want the games to go on a comic kind of direction when it comes to their narrative, because that's where they kind of that's kind of where they're seeing a plot goes from point A to point B, and you can enjoy it. I have problems with comic continuities because they always kind of pull a flashpoint, but that's whatever for me.
Yeah, like, it's when it goes on for too long, it has to reboot a timeline.
Yeah, like but so like in Infinite, which is like, some people like the serious stuff. Like, yeah, but don't make one character that whole fucking point. Or again, if you're gonna do it to go all out, the game never goes all out on anything. It doesn't go all out.
I'm sorry, but Infinite's a fucking bitch of a villain. I'm sorry. Like, his whole motivation is that Shadow called him weak. I'm not weak. I'll show you. And I'm just like,
everything that Ian wrote for him in the comics.
It's still the same bullshit, but it's written better.
Yeah, no, more accurately, he sees like a future where it's like an interesting future due to the Phantom Ruby. It's not, I got kicked in the face by some kind of alien hedgehog being, and he called me weak, and I cried in the corner for a week.
Yeah, like
he called me a bitch and ate my sandwich.
Like say whatever.
Oh my god.
Like, say whatever about Sonic Lost World. At least it knew what it fucking was in terms of narrative. Like,
I praise Sonic Lost World for the gameplay and
I'll give it that it has its identity.
Like, it has an identity. Sonic Forces is the epitome of the lack of focus. And again, like, some people will say like, we don't need that many different games. Like, by this point, that's part of Sonic's history, and a lot of people grew up with so many different iterations of the character, both in terms of comics and in terms of gameplay, to the point where, yeah, I don't think one game can't do that. But that's why I wish that they could just get their act together at the very least, because when they say, we're taking more time on the game, that doesn't fucking tell me anything. Forces took a lot of time, and you use that time on an engine and then a Sunday to make the game. Like, that's still poor time management. I don't care if you're spending 5 years. I want to know how you're administrating those years.
Went.
Like, like again, I want to be sure that every year is not just spent on one thing and then out of fucking nowhere we're rushing this bitch. Like,
I honestly think that they actually got it done in 2 years and then just sat there, looking at Rule 34 for 3.
I'm just like, maybe somebody went to therapy after that, but like, yeah, I won't believe it. But at the end of the day, like that's still telling me like you're doing a very poor time management to the point where Lost World had a lot of time for development and you only spend it on the engine. To be fair, the engine has a lot of possibilities, even in the game it's been shown, but that still tells me, oh, you focus more on making it look pretty than on actually making it work. So again, that's poor time management, no matter how you put it. And especially when technically nobody fucking asked for it. The presentation in Generations and Lost World were still pretty good, presentation-wise, like visually. So, and then you have the other side of the coin, which, for the sake of actually going positive, you have Unleashed, which is very focused on what it wants to be, and technically it's the perfect blend of everything: a serious story, a focused gameplay, and something that nobody asked for. Because again, the Warhawk is functional, it's fine, and you can be creative about it. Like, it's better than a lot of beat 'em ups out there. I will say, maybe not better than God of War, or yeah, God of War, but it's still functional. Like, it knows what it does the job pretty well, unless you're a Drop Shadow, which in this case, yeah, that shit quit during development. But the gameplay is still on the, like, you guys go.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Who wants to go first? Anthony, you or me?
You, because to be honest, you guys kind of lost me for like 2 seconds.
Alright. So the gameplay of Unleashed, I'll say this.
Oh, that's what we're talking about.
It's fun. It is fun. I liked the Werehog more, though. I'm sorry. I like the Werehog more.
Really?
Because, yes.
I wholeheartedly agree with that.
Because as much as the boost formula was good in Unleashed, because it did create it. It had the major flaws that like Generations fixed, but it had that whole thing of like you had to learn the level design. Like, I'm going to tell you the truth. I spent 15 minutes on that one level, and I think it's what's the desert area?
Shamar Arid Sands.
Yeah, Shamar. Yeah, no, there's the one level where you have to go take like the right grind to get right to the goal. Like, it's at the end of it, and there's the goal ring there, and you have to like take the right section. It's like, I spent 15 minutes trying to get the right section, but it kept bullshitting me.
I actually
here's my viewpoint. Like, I love Unleashed. I really do. Like, I really fucking love it. But here's the thing. I'm only good at the daytime stages because I fucking replayed it every single time I go back. And because of that, I learned the stages the hard way. Because remember what I said earlier, the main thing that really drags with the daytime stages is just completely unknowing of what's up ahead. I had, and it's the Sega learning curve, where it's just like, the only way you get good at it is if you keep playing it. Now, in some situations, like the treasure hunting stages from SA2, that's okay, that's fine with the Sega learning curve, but playing Unleashed and doing, doing split-second reactions that no newcomer will find on their first playthrough makes it really, really hard to actually get into the game. I have a friend who recently just got Unleashed as their first time, like their first time playing Unleashed, and they say that it's completely bullshit by how they died in daytime stages, and they find way more enjoyment in the Werehog stages. And I'll admit it too. I've played that game for about 10 years. Oh my fucking god, 10 years. And I still prefer the Werehog stages because, yes, it's not exactly what we expect from Sonic, but in terms of design, it's still the most polished version of part in Unleashed, and it works and it plays well, and there's no bullshit.
I
Yeah.
couldn't disagree with you guys harder because maybe it's because of the fact that I played Unleashed as the last one, like at least before Forces. Before Forces came out, I played Colors, Generations, and then Unleashed because it was hard for me to get that one. And Unleashed was again like it is what I again some elements of Generations are good to be implemented, like it's just more polished, but the level design and everything was kind of my favorite stuff of any Sonic game because
I will say the level design is good. That's not the
No,
problem.
it is.
Oh, no, yeah,
look,
but
and I'm not,
But
and
it
I'm
fucking
not saying
snipes
that
you.
I hate it.
it snipes
Yeah.
you. I know that.
And reminder, I'm not saying that I hate the daytime stages because it throws everything in literally the kitchen
Yeah.
sink at you. I'm just saying, like, for newcomers, do not play this fucking game unless you're very familiar with the boost formula. Otherwise, it will hit you in the dick even if you don't have one.
Yeah,
Okay?
But once you get into it, god damn it, do you? Like,
Yeah, but once you get into it, you start to fucking love it, and I still love it. It's my first or second favorite Sonic game for a reason. I'm not saying it's bullshit and I hate the game for it. No.
Yeah, no, I get
I
it.
love it.
Like
Eggman Land made me rage quit.
I actually love Eggman Land.
I rage quit.
No, I get it.
I like. This is a funny story, but I streamed recently with my friend Hunter, and I died 2 times in Eggman Land for some fucking reason. I still got an S rank.
I'm gonna assume that you took my advice on just avoiding shit when you could.
No,
Oh, really? Huh.
no.
Oh, maybe because you at the very end you managed to use to do the fucking doorbell effect. The fact that they use a fucking doorbell
On every single enemy, yeah, I
Yeah.
used it, and I guess that's what let me get the S rank. I don't know. I don't deserve it. I don't deserve it.
In total, I spent 4 hours on that fucking stage.
oh shit.
Oh,
Yeah, no,
I remember.
Eggman Land is a cool mistress to me. I even at one point during like my best run, I got caught in between seam of a ramp and the wall and was stuck there for 15 minutes.
Oh shit.
Look, I'm sorry, but Eggman Land is the hardest level in all of Sonic. I don't care
I
who you
know.
are.
Af-
It's the
no,
hardest
after
stage.
after a while, it just gnawed on my soul. I can't go back to it until I can actually get a physical copy because I played that on PS Now.
Yeah, no, I
don't,
get it. I get
don't,
it.
don't fucking do
Which
it.
actually it wasn't that bad of delay. It did lag sometimes, but like I would like a little bit more responsiveness and less lag.
I can see that. Like, like Sonic Elite for me, it's a fucking spectacle from beginning to end. It has all the personality from the adventure games. It has the humor, like the perfect balance of humor and seriousness that you can get from the Boost games, like or at least all the modern games, like even the storybook series. Like it gets a good down to earth thing because at the end of the day, yeah, of course Sonic is gonna end. It's a fucking game. It's a kid's game. At the end, but Sonic takes the situation seriously, despite the fact that he also jokes around it every single time he can. But again, when the time is to when he's facing that fucking Dark Gaia, he's all serious and he knows what he has to do because he knows the stakes.
That's probably what I like most about Sonic Unleashed writing, because like a lot of people will be like, oh, why isn't he as quirky as he is in other games? Dude, the fucking planet split into pieces, and Eggman kind of freaking wins if you really think about it before Sonic even has a chance to do anything. Eggman won in Sonic's eyes, and Sonic has this whole stress of having to put the entire planet back together. He turns into this werehog thing at night, and some people are flat out afraid of him to the point where Amy doesn't even freaking recognize him. Then again, it's not exactly new. And
hold on. Can I just say she did recognize him for half a second?
Yeah, I mean that woman
but she
is.
does that with every fucking character
mean,
that's a hedgehog.
I mean, that woman is kind of racist if you think about it, because like, oh, you're a hedgehog, you're Sonic. Oh, you're a.
Well, to be fair, is it racist if it's your own kind?
Sexist, I think. Then I don't care.
Bias.
Okay.
Every male
bias.
is Sonic. With
No.
a bias.
Right, no, you're right. But anyway, because like I'm just thinking to myself, like, and Sonic also has to deal with the fact that he may have been responsible for Chip's amnesia, which, let's be honest here, he kind of is, because he had some part in it, in some way, shape, or form. So the man's just like, fuck, this shit's serious.
I mean, he
I gotta
still
freaking
jokes.
do something right now.
He
Like, he
still
still
jokes
jokes when the timing
to
calls
relieve the
for it.
tension. Yeah.
But he's still
It's-
calm and collected and realizes, yeah, no, the stakes are serious. I can't make a freaking joke every 5 seconds like he does in Forces and Lost World.
Yeah.
I will say this: there is one line in. I have to say one line in Forces. It was good delivery. Just the animations suck, and that's one part of why I think Sonic games also go downhill is the animations. But no, it's the one before the final boss where Sonic's talking about the pile of robots.
Oh yeah.
You know, and he goes, we're gonna beat you like we always do, and you're gonna go home to your lab and complain. Why does this all? Something like that. It was Roger had brilliant delivery on that. It was just the fact that there was no expression ever since Brawl. They got like after Brawl, which yes, I know it's not a Sonic game, but it's the actual turning point that.
Hold on, I'll BRB.
All right.
Oh, all right. But like after they got to Brawl, like Brawl was like the last time you really saw like Sonic fully expressive as he was.
Mm-hmm.
And until Boom came in, because Boom is actually the best of his expressions nowadays.
Yeah.
But like Brawl was the last time you saw him like have the full like range of his eyes. That's the thing is why? What's Sega's whole thing with having the stiff animations?
Like, and it's something that I don't understand because, again, if you look at some of their, like when Sega's animating it or Sonic Team per se, it's weird. But again, you see it in advertising and in Wreck-It Ralph, and goddamn, does he have full motion? Like,
Yeah, it's the thing is he's a cartoon character. He's made to be more cartoony than Mario. Guess what? They don't use that to their advantage.
yeah, and now, ironically, the people from Unleashed are now in Odyssey, and that fucker has never been more expressive. But again, like Unleashed is just like the epitome of what Sonic should have been, except for the Warthog if you want to go there. But god damn it, like again, like it feels like that. Yeah, that was the end of a lot of things and the beginning of a new era. Then again, it gave us a lot of good stuff. I will never deny for Sonic Generations, or even to an extent the Sonic 4 Episode 1 and 2. They're still good games, but goddamn.
I forget those games exist.
Yeah, I get it.
Yeah, I don't want to think about them existing. But
I
I
don't
will
blame
say
you.
this. I will say this. There is an idea I have that we'll probably talk about. We can talk about a little bit later. That I think could definitely make a lot of Sonic fans happy. Maybe not please every single one of them, but maybe play towards working on that.
All right.
But
let's hear it.
oh, this is one that I've been kind of trying to refine, but I never had a time to sit down and talk about it. But I mentioned this idea to a bunch of people. You've heard it at least once or twice. The multi-genre.
Oh yeah.
Going multi-genre.
I mean,
But-
that's the thing. That's technically what they were, but they just stopped.
Yeah, well, no. What I mean is more multi-genre than they normally do. Like actually, like incorporating multiple gameplay styles into one game. Maybe not even make them like. Maybe not actually have them be like part of like what you need to play, but you can for like more context in the story. Like not force it for the true ending of a game like they had in all the other ones, but like say like with Amy, Amy's in the story. She has this whole like thing she talks about in Sonic's story, and it's like you can play that, and like you're not forced to, but you can, and it's its own gameplay style. Same with Knuckles, and like you can have Sonic and Tails split up, and boom, he has his own thing, and all of that,
Yeah.
And that's the thing is, one thing that they lost that I will say that needs to come back from the adventure era is we need to focus more on the other characters than just Sonic, because that's kind of the thing is, yeah, it's called Sonic, but at this point it's more established that it's, you know, he's the hero, but he also has his friends who help, and you've played as them before.
Yeah, like at the end of the day, because it was bound to happen. Like, there's a reason why a lot of people compare Sonic with Dragon Ball. Like, there are a lot of factors. Like I'm not gonna pretend that they don't exist. However, at the end of the day, they both suffer from the same problem. Like, where at some point they wanted to give so much focus to the rest of the cast to the point where they forgot that it's a Sonic game, and then they went the full opposite direction, where like, oh, the cast is here. Moving on, to the point where like you missed the point. But again, in the case of Sonic, you can't just pretend that the adventure era didn't exist just because you delisted them.
Yeah, and then we shouldn't talk about the whole little continuity errors that they had throughout, like the goddamn moon.
Like, I mean, that's a different story. But again, like the fact that they're just going to, again, they delisted a lot of the games. They got a bad critic, like a bad reception, but to the point where like, but they were still loved by a lot of people. You can't just ignore your history. Otherwise, again, you're doomed to repeat it, and that's the result of Sonic Forces. To the point where people are afraid that we're gonna get to another dark age.
We never left.
Technically, if you think about it, we still are.
I mean, there was...
we never left.
Yeah, I mean, I get it, but like that again, there was a point where people were like, "Oh no, yeah, shit is good. The shit is in a good place. Like the games are solid and everything," and then Forces is like, "I have fear within me," like, but. Again, like going multi-genre, that's its own thing, because you're talking in a certain way to go full on Sonic 06 again, which again, I wouldn't mind if they went there, but again, if they actually, but I don't trust them. That's my major problem. I don't trust.
They need a shake-up.
Like,
they need to shake up, because like, think about it. They got the Mario got the devs from Sonic Unleashed, and guess what? We got a good game. We need them to grab some of the Mario devs.
Yeah,
Come on.
I mean,
You know, try and do something different, but not make it Mario, please.
And to an extent, I want to believe that Sega is willing to give Sonic Team a break to actually work on something really good, because right now they don't need the money from Sonic. They got fucking Persona right now, giving them all the money they can they can ask for.
And they've got all these ports that they're wanting to bring out, and new games that Sonic Team are working on outside of it.
Yeah, like so like, give them time to work on something, but at the same time, whatever you want to do, focus on it. And if you have a good idea, then make a different game with it. People did not, at the end of the day, people had problems with Shadow the Hedgehog and Sonic 06, but even then, whenever people talk about Shadow the Hedgehog as a problem, it's mainly because of how goddamn slippery it is. In terms of the gameplay style. But the other stuff is just like, what the fuck is it? It's a what the fuck of a story. And then you have 06, which again is still talked about to this day, even more than any other Sonic game out there. In both in a good and bad way, and to the point like that the character is still very beloved from those games that they're trying to ignore. They didn't exist, like they never happened.
Wait. You're talking about ignoring. I haven't seen Cream the Rabbit in 10 years.
Oh, Cream the Rabbi, yeah.
No, Cream hasn't actually been in a game outside of a cameo in 9 years. And like I'm talking about non-cameo, 9 years.
Yeah, I get it.
The last time she was here was Sonic Generations.
No, and again
that poor girl.
I mean, it's technically Forces, but again, who gives a shit?
It's Forces. Who gives a shit?
Yeah.
Is she in Forces?
Yeah.
Where?
No, not really.
Wait, like, I'm pretty sure she's in a fucking in a
no,
dialogue.
no one has seen her then.
Alright, I'm looking it up.
Bruh, she was never in any cutscenes. She wasn't part of the Resistance or anything.
All I'm seeing is Cream the Rabbit mod and Forces.
Yeah, no, she was never in the game.
Okay, fuck it. But again, like with that said, like it just, and again during the modern era, like I said, you got Last World going in two different kind of gameplay styles. You had the boost formula in both Rush and the 3D stuff. You have again the Mario and Sonic games. You have, if you want to go there, you also have the whole fighting game, the fighting aspect with Smash Brothers. So which, yeah, Sonic Battle fans, that's all you got.
Yeah.
So we can still go about it, but that's the major topic at the end of the day. Like, those games have so many different focuses, or the franchise has gone through so many different focuses, both as a video game and as a piece of media, to the point where if you're a fan of Sonic, you're either part of the change that somebody else didn't like, or something has already changed and it's not what you like anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
or you're very young and everything makes sense to you.
You know what's funny? I never thought that we could actually talk about this fucking long. Oh my god.
I am so sorry about that. It's just that I think we're all very passionate about this because that's what we are. And Sonic, I care about it. I care about the IP. I care about the history behind it because
I just like the characters.
not like, I mean, that's
I
fair.
just want to see more character development.
That's
And
fair.
that is character development.
Oh shit. But that, like, in my case, the gameplay, the games and the history, and just the fact that that motherfucker managed to survive an impending doom that was caused by himself is like something that I praise. And I don't want this IP to die. By this point, why? Like, it's not fair after every time the fucker tries to survive. Like, so I want this thing to do well, but at the end of the day, I want it to be taken seriously in both development and characterization. Maybe not go full adventure, or even let alone fucking Shadow the Hedgehog, but something in the form of Unleash or Lost World, or again like the advanced games, where like again there was like the environment was silly, but the characters were taking the world seriously because that's their world at the end of the day. Like,
Like, that's the thing, is it may be silly and jovial to us, but to them, they're used to it.
yeah, like that's their world at the end of the day.
Yeah.
And
I need to say this though, Sega. Can you make a game and that with Sonic not shortening his quills every single time?
yeah, I feel like by this point we're getting into the similar situation with that one female character in in comic books. They just got more size on her breast until somebody actually noticed it.
Dude.
What?
Generation, it's so like, if you look compared to Generations, dude, it looks like you freaking gave him a buzz cut.
No, it literally, like, at least some images that I saw, it genuinely looked like they grabbed classic Sonic's head and put it in that guy's body.
Yeah.
It
No.
does.
Like,
It doesn't. It's garbage.
And it
Why?
sucks because the long quills look so freaking good. Look at his
It
design of
balances-
Secret Rings in Black Knight. It's fucking flawless. Why fuck that up?
yeah,
I wouldn't say flawless. They could be. It could be changed in any kind of way, but not majorly. Like minor corrections, if anything. But and like I don't have anything. I'm just saying there could be minor corrections that people see. But at the end of the day, that was kind of his best overall look because of the fact that it balanced his whole body.
and again, because it wanted to be its own thing, they put their heart into it, and that's at the end of the day maybe what I want. Like, to just see that, like, to just feel that magical, like, oh, you're putting your heart into this thing, whether or not it's good. Like, because Forces just felt like colors again, or just a mix of everything that people liked about your history, despite the fact that all those elements were enjoyed on their own. So at the end of the day, you have a clusterfuck because nobody likes this thing because it only teases you with everything that you may or may not like. And I think that's the major thing. Like, I just, like, even if it's a fucking Secret Rings kind of a game, I just want to feel like it actually mattered to you when you made it. And with that, I think that's best way I can put it. Like, I just want to see passion into it.
Yeah,
I just wanna see
that's
effort being
what-
put.
that's what it all boils down to. Is I want to see effort, but I don't want to see a game every year if they're going to just like say, oh, it's for the sake of money. It's like that's the thing is Sonic fans are spoiled. They are.
For the
Let's be
wrong
honest,
reasons.
we
For the
are.
wrong, like,
For the wrong reasons. They're spoiled with a game release every year, and so it's just like when they don't get a game release, they go hog wild. They fucking.
But then at the same time, they're just like, damn it, Sega, why don't you give yourself some more time so that way the games can be actually good? Okay, we're gonna do
They're
that.
the biggest
Right.
hypocrites.
you son of a bitch.
You son of a bitch! You shouldn't have listened to me.
You son of a bitch. You shouldn't have listened to me. I'm mad at you because you listened to me even though I told you to listen to me, but now I'm gonna be mad at you because you did just that. Listen to me, so now I'm gonna flip out. Wait, now you're ignoring me? What the fuck, Sega?
Yeah, the Sonic community has way too much of a power high.
Oh, we can go. We can go to a fucking for a 1,000 subscriber special. Like, if you want us to talk about that, about your fucking fan base, just go for there.
The funny thing is, I kind of just summed up the main question of this podcast.
Oh no, yeah. At the end of the, I mean, we summed it up like since the very beginning, but we need to fill time here. Yeah.
We need to fill in the time slot, boys.
We need to at least get to 2.5 hours.
Let us know what you think about the Sonic franchise with probably a negative thought, but we'll see you next time on the Gray Line, where we're both right and wrong at the same time.